Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Forbidden Land podcast. We are in day 18 of the government shutdown, making it the third longest shutdown in U.S. history. The longest shutdown is from Trump's first administration in 2018. So let's see if he can hit that new record. You know what I mean? Let's see if he can really get that new record to beat out his first term. Yeah, we are on day 18 of the shutdown. Nothing is funded. I believe the Supreme Court closes to the public today. Mike Johnson still hasn't sworn in that new representative from the Democratic Party. And so, but hey, when the government reopens, we are one step closer to the Epstein files coming out. Because that's the most important thing right now, am I right? That's the most important thing going on right now, is whether or not the Epstein files get released. Obviously. No, obviously I'm being a little jokey. While it would be nice for the Epstein files to come out, really all the files would do is just confirm what we already know. And I think it's been so long now, I think the window for the files to matter is gone, but I could be totally off base with that. Maybe if the files came out, his supporters will be like, oh my God, I supported a actual pedophile out in the open like that? I doubt it, though. I really do. I doubt it. I think his most, diehard supporters won't care. I think some of the more casual conservative Republicans will care to some extent. I think they'll care about as much as they care about Bill Clinton being on the list, where like they'll bring it up, but they don't really feel much about it. But we are close. No, the most important thing going on right now is the ceasefire in Israel. So the government here negotiated a ceasefire with Israel and Hamas, and Hamas basically just agreed to all of the terms. They were like, look, sure, what the hell? And I would assume that was them just kind of wrestling with the fact that it literally doesn't matter how long, it literally doesn't matter what they do, this genocide will continue. And I think they had hope that to some extent this ceasefire deal would bring an end to the endless bombing campaign that has been pushing the Palestinians to the coastline for the last 2 years. I think that's what they were hoping. Sorry, I'm fucking with my hair a lot right now. I think that's what Hamas was hoping. And it was like looking up for like a day or two. And then Israel just started unloading again on Gaza. Not to the same extent, but still pretty bad. They've killed almost 100 people. So, fuck! Come on. Whatever, okay. They've killed almost 100 people during the ceasefire, and it's only been 9 days. I'm so sorry. I cannot get this little piece of hair to just stay on my head. So yeah, they've killed almost 100 people. They've been blocking the Rafah crossing, and halving the amount of aid that's allowed into the strip. I even wrote on here, what was it? I said ceasefire to Israel means unload everything now before it takes effect. Yeah, this is before it had even fully gone into effect. They had already agreed on the terms. And then they're out here bombing people. Like, come on. What are we doing? All the community notes being like, the ceasefire hasn't taken effect yet. If you come to an agreement on a ceasefire, that doesn't mean just unload everything before the ceasefire takes effect. That is exactly what Israel did when there was a ceasefire agreement with them and Iran. It's where we got that infamous clip of Trump saying they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Because they just started unloading. Yeah, Palestinians started going back to where their homes were. They started making the journey back to the allowed zones where the IDF had pulled back. The terms apparently were that Israel would free 250 Palestinians serving long terms in their prisons, and then 1,700 detainees would be released that were captured during the genocide, during the still ongoing genocide, by the way. I had a what do we do now part of this, but we don't do anything now because right now we are being shown that Israel doesn't care, that the world doesn't care, that a sovereign nation gets to just, let me rephrase that a rogue country gets to come in, gets to basically fake out a ceasefire deal, be like, fine, whatever, we'll accept the terms of the ceasefire, and with Hamas, I'm trying to do a Netanyahu thing here. And then, like, right after the ceasefire is agreed upon, finally another ceasefire after the first one fell apart so bad because of Israel. Now they're going to go in again during the ceasefire and just start killing people. They killed a bus full of children. No one cares, apparently. No one in this country cares. No one in Europe cares. It seems that globally, we just don't care. The UN will probably try to pass another fucking resolution to be like, that's bad, guys. You can't do that. And then it's going to fall flat as usual. Nobody will actually step in and do something about it. You know, they want to like nominate Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. Go fuck yourself. Seriously. That is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. Nominating Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. For doing what? For setting up this bullshit ceasefire deal? I don't understand it. Let me chill out a little bit. So I had like a list. I was gonna go down this long rant about Israel. I had a list of their perceived enemies as of right now, and it was just Hamas, Lebanon, or Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, Iran, Syria, Turkey, children, Ireland, because apparently they don't like the Irish at all. Greta Thunberg, who they just released from prison, by the way, and apparently were torturing her in that prison. Both international courts, the UN, the UNRWA, and literally any humanitarian organization. That was my list. And, I also put the UNRWA because I found out that the Knesset took a vote to label them as like a hate group against Israel, pretty much. How insane is that? I mean, this country is ambivalent. They don't suffer any consequences. I feel like Israel's just doing this, one, because they want to take over Gaza, and two, personally for Netanyahu, I don't think Netanyahu even cares that much about the land grab. I think he cares more about staying out of prison. I think that's actually what it is. I think he cares way more about staying out of prison than he does this actual genocide. Yeah, look at this. Look at how they've completely destroyed this area. Absolutely destroyed it. Here, I got even more. I have a whole list of the aftermath of what happened here. I mean, here, let me move my camera. Look at how much space they've completely leveled. I mean, what do the Palestinians even have to go back to? What do they have left? I mean, they basically did everything but nuke the strip. They nuked whatever was left of, of Gaza. It's just so gross. It's so disheartening. Oh, look at another little fucking asshole piece of shit. Wait, I was assured this was an open air prison. It is. Look at Gaza before October 7th. And then compare it to how like Israel looks. People were being killed in Gaza long before October 7th. Long before then. There have been multiple Gaza massacres. This is where the people fleeing during the Nakba went when they were driven out of Israel, or out of what was Palestine. And they were being driven out during the Nakba. This is where a lot of them went, to here. The strip is surrounded by military walls. They get sniped when they try to come back into Israel. The March to Return was a peaceful march to re-enter Israel from the Gaza Strip. They were sniping people, innocent people, sniping like women and children, just random people. Oh, I thought it was an open air prison. Eat an ass. Eat a dick. Why don't you? It was recent. It was recent that they started allowing Palestinians to fish in their own water. And then they restricted it after October 7th. They killed people for trying to fish while they were actively starving the Palestinian population. People wonder why I get so riled up about this, and I explained a little bit of it last week. Because it's absolutely disgusting that conservatives, liberals, Zionists, all of them, look at stuff like this and go, yeah, this was justified. It's the same reason why a lot of liberals don't give a single fuck about Iraq. So many liberals don't see what we did wrong in Iraq and Afghanistan. And they don't see anything wrong with this either. This whole area was leveled. Leveled. I mean, shoot, half of them don't even recognize. You know how often I hear the response when people talk about, Native Americans getting their land taken away? They go, well, then, typical liberal response, well, then just, why don't you give up your house then to a Native American? That's what you have to say about that? Really? That's your solution? You think that's the solution here? You think that's a witty response to a question like that? I've talked about it in regards to, my one-state solution ideas with Israel and Palestine. And, the right to, I think there should be a right to return, reparations, all this type of stuff. And I would say the same thing about here. Letting Native Americans live wherever they want, or letting Native Americans have a lot of their land back. Let them establish their own tribal nations. Let them have more sovereignty over themselves. And then give them reparations. Give them tribal nations that they're in control of. If they want Americans, American citizens, white people basically, to live on those reservations, that's their choice. But that we have like 400 years plus of injustice to pay back to the natives here. The issue goes well beyond some kind of feeble one-state solution style ideas I have for that. The Israel project has only been going for 75 years. So with that, it's a lot easier to bring the Palestinians back into historic Palestine give them civil rights, let them have their own sovereignty and their own autonomy over themselves, the right to self-determination, you know, give them reparations for what you've done to them. The easy solutions here, you know, yes, while it's easier said than done, these are simple solutions. No brainers to someone with actual humanity. Look at this. More people trying to justify genocide. Look, this stupid fucking map. This is what they always bring up. They always bring up this map. Wow. You know, they never want to bring up how Israel terrorized some of these countries. You know, how Israel was like offering to pay people to come to Israel. It's so insane. Did I even show the map? Yeah, look at this map. They always show this stupid fucking map. Let's see, apocalyptic scene from Jabalia, northern Gaza. Not a single building left standing. The entire area reduced to rubble. Wow. شرق مدينة جباليا. يا الله. شو هذا الدمار؟ مسح مسح. شرق مدينة جباليا. Remember when this all started? And we were debating whether or not Israel bombed a single hospital. Remember that? I think I talked about it on this podcast, actually. How I said it was ridiculous to think that a Hamas missile, which is basically trash thrown together to cause a small explosion, made out of pieces of Israel's own technology, but still not nearly strong enough to level an entire hospital. Remember when we were debating that, whether or not Israel blew up a hospital or not, or if Hamas fired their own rocket on themselves? And people were like, Israel would never blow up a hospital full of innocent people. They would never do that. You know, Israel would never blow up a hospital. Why would they do that? You know. Oh, but if they did blow up the hospital, there's probably Hamas tunnels under there. You know, and now they've like destroyed every hospital in the Strip and every university, every school. 90% of the infrastructure in Gaza is gone now. You know, they estimated this back when like only about half of the Strip had been destroyed, that it would take them like multiple generations to rebuild unless somebody stepped in and helped. And yeah, I would say it would probably take double my lifetime for them to even think about rebuilding Gaza. Just what a disaster. This ceasefire is not going to go well. It's going to be Israel violating it, and then going, actually, we change our minds, and then reoccupying huge portions of the Strip, pushing the wall further in to Gaza, and then claiming that land as part of Israel, and being like, all right, Palestinians, y'all can have this little piece of the coastline, but, you know, we're going to take the rest of the Strip because Hamas. Ridiculous. Here's another piece of footage. This is the last one I got. This is horrible, man. I really don't know how people look at this and are okay with it. I really don't. Yeah.
الإسرائيلي من هذه المناطق.
And look at that. I did see this one cool video that made me pretty emotional. Wonder if I put it in here. No, I didn't. Did I not put it in here? Man, I didn't put it in here. It was this dude who returned to his house, and I guess one of the back walls had been blown out, and it was just full of rubble. And in like a day or two, he had put up like a huge curtain thing for the back wall, and it like basically rebuilt his whole like little space. And it was, it made me emotional because I was like, wow, even in the face of near imminent destruction at the hands of Israel, all these people returned or were trying to return to their homes. Some made it to their homes and immediately started rebuilding and are already seeing results. They've already gotten like furnished rooms and some idea of normalcy coming back to their lives. These people were just normal, everyday people, and now so many of them have gone from being just normal people, like a deli shop owner or like a videographer or anything, and now they've become like surrogate journalists, aid workers, like leaders. These people are so resilient. And after all this, they, some of them were able to go home and make something out of their situation. Have some semblance of happiness or joy. It makes me so upset seeing some of the footage of the destruction, but it makes me happy knowing that some of them are able to find a way to rebuild in their own way, to try to return to a normal way of life. Someone like Bassan was like a small-time content creator who just videoed her life in Gaza, and now she's like one of the world's most prominent Palestinian journalists. She reports on stuff for Al Jazeera. She's won awards for her reporting. She's like an on-the-ground field journalist now. She shouldn't have had to be. But, that's just an example of someone who was living such a normal life and it got uprooted. And, she had to adapt, basically. And so she became a journalist, pretty much. She used her platform to get the message out. Nobody in this fucking awful, privileged, shitbag country can even imagine a world where they'd have to do something like that. They can't even imagine it. What the fuck is a college-educated data analyst going to do in America when we start getting relentlessly missiled into hell? Nobody in this country has the balls, has the courage, the guts, or the resilience that these Palestinians do. Nobody here has that. I don't even fucking have that. These people have it way worse than us, and they've learned how to survive and adapt in a way that nobody in this stupid fucking country could even imagine. So, I said my piece about that. There's some other shit going on. Israel is apparently bombing Lebanon now with like specialized bombs, from what I've been reading. I mean, this is insane. No, this isn't a sunrise. It's Israel massively bombing Lebanon. Look at this. Why are we allowing this to happen? Why are we allowing stuff like this to happen? 9 days into a ceasefire, now they're just bombing fucking Lebanon for no reason. Why? For what? Leave these people alone. Israel's constantly crying and bitching about, all these surrounding countries don't like us because we're we're the country for the Jews in this in the Middle East. That's not why they don't like you. They don't like you because of shit like this. Why are you just randomly bombing Lebanon right now? This is ridiculous, man. Why would anyone in this region fucking like you? Why would anyone like you in this region? You're bombing Lebanon, especially, dude, the pager attack alone on Lebanon should have been enough for people to understand why people in the Middle East don't like Israel as a country. You know, I'm sure there are anti-Semitic people in the Middle East that don't like Israel because of Judaism. But I don't think that's the case for the majority of people that don't like Israel in the Middle East. I don't think that's the majority of the case. I think it's shit like this is why people don't like Israel in that region. Like, why? Why are they even doing this? I don't get it. Oh my God. Yeah, no one in America could even fathom something like this happening like right down the road from them. Oh, whoa. Oh my God, that's way more nefarious than I thought if that's real. Is that true? Whoa. Apparently the thing they struck was a concrete plant. Possibly to prevent Lebanon from assisting in the reconstruction of Gaza. Oh my God. Wow. Damn, dude. Yeah, that's disgusting. I also want to talk about the um, Google deal where uh, where YouTube is running ads basically to run Israeli propaganda. Because Google accepted a $45 million contract with Israel. And, I saw an ad where they're saying there is no food shortage in Gaza. There's another one where it's saying that the UN is sabotaging aid efforts and stuff like that. Yeah, here's some screenshots of these from a drop site news. Like, what? What the fuck is this? This is the deliberate sabotage by the UN. You know you're on the wrong side of history when you're like, I can't believe all these aid organizations are trying to feed the starving babies in Gaza. You know, they're all so evil for trying to do that. Ay, ay, ay. So, there's some other stuff. Apparently, Pete Hegseth said that they're going to build a Qatar Air Force base on a U.S. base in Idaho. That's a bit bizarre. I wonder what's going on with that. I hope in my future of living on this earth, some future administration shows us all of the receipts of why the Trump administration is allowing Qatar to have an Air Force base here, America style, and then why they were giving us, that plane earlier in the year, and why they allowed us and Israel to go in and bomb an area in Qatar, and it's really odd, man. It's really weird. Apparently Singapore has something over there too. I just don't really understand why we are allowing shady entities like this. They're saying that the strike in Qatar may have led to the Gaza peace deal negotiations. Oh, I doubt it, dude. I think Trump just wanted that Nobel Peace Prize when, you know, I think that's all it was. I don't think he actually gives a fuck about the Palestinians. Greg Abbott orders the National Guard to Austin ahead of an Antifa-linked protest. I hope Greg Abbott fucking... Never mind. I hope he rolls down a hill really fast and loses control and crashes his wheelchair or something. I don't know, something like that. And if people want to be like, wow, I can't believe you'd say that about a guy in a wheelchair. This is the guy that wants to abolish the ADA pretty much in Texas and has already begun to do so. So those fucking ramps he loves taking advantage of, being in a wheelchair, bye-bye to those. Because he wants to get rid of the law that mandates wheelchair ramps in, on businesses and public spaces and whatnot. Wow. I don't know. The Qatar airbase thing is like, one, why are we even allowing that? But two, it's kind of funny. Like, I've seen some conservatives and Republicans get upset, but I'm like, we do this everywhere else. We have a military base in almost every country on the planet. So this is basically us getting a taste of our own medicine. So if you don't like it, I mean, I'm just letting you know this is how every other country feels around these parts. Wow, I can't believe I didn't wipe that part out. I wiped a couple topics off of here because I was like, whatever. Who gives a fuck? But I kept a few. I'm kind of surprised I kept the stock market one. Yeah, the stock market took a huge dip on last week. Yeah, the stock market just completely like plummeted. We lost over $1 billion of value, but I mean, I don't know how that really affects us. It just looks bad on the Trump administration. The federal government also declared Antifa a terrorist organization, and the Supreme Court rejects Missouri's case to, hear this, ignore federal gun laws. Missouri basically wanted to ignore any federal oversight of gun laws. What the fuck? The Supreme Court refused Monday to revive a controversial Missouri gun law that bans police from enforcing some federal firearm laws. Basically, police couldn't enforce any firearm laws in Missouri because Missouri wanted to block that on like a states' rights level, and yeah, the Supreme Court just does not want to hear it. Apparently other federal courts have already blocked the law. That's really funny that they still tried to file it anyway with the Supreme Court. Yeah, the last topic, really, the one I'm a little bit interested in, or one of the last topics, the one that I'm super interested in. I love weather events, and I love learning about like tornadoes and all that stuff. At least I did love it until EF4 tornado hit my house. But I gotta say, we haven't had an EF5 tornado since 2013. Until now. They just named a EF5 tornado in in fucking North Dakota. They just named an EF5 tornado in North Dakota. It's the first one since the Moore tornado. I would assume because of how many farms it destroyed. I saw some people complaining because I guess tornado valor exists in this country. And I just gotta say, that's hilarious. People were like, this tornado ripped through my town. How come we didn't get an EF5 rating? The reason why this one got an EF5 rating is because it did a lot of like monetary damage, I believe. It destroyed a lot of farms and like uprooted shit off its foundation. It hit all the criteria, I believe, for an EF5. Although the thought did cross my mind of like, what if the Trump National Weather Service just really wanted to hit that whole, oh, we should get the first EF5 in 12 years during our administration. Like, maybe that's why they did it. That thought did cross my mind, but I don't think that's true. I don't think that's what they did. That tornado being an EF5 makes sense. But yeah, I wanted to mention that because I really like weather, and I usually do talk about stuff like that. Last topic. Zohran Mamdani is 1,000% probably going to be the next mayor of New York City. Early voting starts in a few days, and they just had a debate with him, Cuomo, and Curtis. Oh my God. What a debate. And a poll that I saw right before the debate had Mamdani ahead by 24 points. And apparently his popularity has soared even higher now because of that debate. I would not be surprised if Cuomo... I would not be surprised if Cuomo fell behind Curtis. Curtis is sitting at like a nice 14% during on a Fox News poll, and Mamdani is sitting at 52%, Cuomo at 28%. After this debate, I would not be shocked at all if Curtis and Cuomo swap places, which is really saying something about Cuomo's performance. Cuomo's performance was garbage. It was so bad. Dude, at one point, they say you can only go to this Mets game or this Knicks game. You can only go to one. Which one do you choose? And I believe Curtis and Mamdani both answered the Knicks, right? And Cuomo, dude. Cuomo answered, I would go to both. And they said, you can't. And he said, I think I could probably make it to both. Go to one, race across town, go to the other. Just answer the fucking question, dude. You look like a moron. Why would you say it? Why would you even answer with that? I was watching it. I was like, what a dog shit answer is that? At least like, just give an answer. You're not going to lose any votes by giving an answer to that question. And then like the moment where Mamdani was like, yeah, I've smoked weed before. It's such a funny moment, man. He looked so embarrassed too. Anyway, all hail our new glorious socialist leader, Zohran Mamdani. I love him. You guys know I love him. You guys remember, if you watch the podcast, you probably remember how devastated I was when I found out that Mamdani can't be the president because he wasn't born here. I was so upset, and, Zohran Mamdani's goated. I don't even know what to say. I mean... He's so awesome, man. I just love him. He's such a good, like, political speaker and whatnot. He'll be the mayor. We'll see it work out pretty well for New York. I'm sure we will. Unless, Hochul decides to meddle in it and Trump decides to meddle in it and invade New York City. But we'll see how that goes. I think the Trump administration is in for a doozy. I think we've gotten too much bad shit over the course of the year. I don't think it's going to go well for the Trump administration leading into the midterms. I think the midterms are going to completely destroy his majority in Congress. And I also think that the imminent release of the Epstein files might solidify how kneecapped Trump will be going forward. I don't think he's going to... Like, he's already deeply unpopular. I don't think he's ever going to recover after this next year and year and 1 month. I think the midterms will absolutely destroy his plans. So that's my prediction. You can trade on it. Who's that? What's that fucking AI commercial where they're like, the Cowboys are playing and you can trade on it? You know, that fucking Kalishi thing. God, that shit pisses me off, bro. Talk about some stuff that pisses me off royally. Kalishi, that stupid trading betting app. Oh my God. The AI shit. Oh my, let me see if I can find it. Because they're doing like Cuomo has a 98% or whatever it was, like a 80% chance of winning the election. No, he has an 80% bet placed on him on Kalishi. That's what it actually is. Let me see. Where's the ad? It's like a very specific ad. And you can trade on it. Come on. Give me the right ad. It's very specific. You've got to be kidding me. Will Jesus rise again? Odds 1%. Oh my God. Wait, are these ads made by like this dude that like very clearly is fucking with them? Oh, that'd be so funny if that was the case.
I got paid $900 for uploading my camera roll.
Yeah, look at this shit,
I made
man.
$420 uploading my homework.
Indiana gonna win, baby!
We're in Florida asking people what they put their money on. I'm all in on
Dude, this is so crazy.
KC.
Indiana got that dog in them!
Will egg prices go up this month?
I think we'll hit $20. How many hurricanes do you think we'll have this year? Kalshi lets you legally trade
Kalshi, not Kalishi. I'm stupid.
on anything, anywhere in the U.S. OKC!
Indy! OKC!
I guess that one aired during the NBA Finals. Oh my God. Oh man. Yeah, I think he's like fucking with them a little bit. Like I know he's an AI freak, but I feel like he's kind of just seeing what will stick. What is this one?
If history has taught us anything, it's not to root against the underdog. Right, Peter?
No spoilers.
It pays
Peter? Oh my God.
to know what's coming,
Check the group chat!
to chart your own course,
I'm sure that's nothing.
because the 1 in a million long shot can work. When the whole world picks Goliath, you know it's going to be David. Every great leap began with a bold first step, and there's no shortage of second chances. Against impossible odds, you
This is crazy, dude. This is insane that they're actually airing shit like this. I want to see if I can find out. I want to see if I can find the ad because, I know where I usually get the ad at, like what I'm watching whenever I get it. I'm usually watching Stavi's World. But let me see. Oh, hold on. Do I have all my ad blockers off? Let's see.
Stavros.
How am I gonna not get an ad? Man, come on. Are you for real? This is ridiculous. Come on. That's crazy. I turned it off. I clicked every video. I didn't get a single ad. But I do when I'm at the gym and I'm on my phone. Come on, man. Whatever. You'll see it if you watch those clips. It's just like this really annoying like, and you can trade on it type of ad. And it's so clearly AI. Alright, that's it. That's all I got. Subscribe on Patreon. I changed the prices. Let me check them. First $6 a month, folks. I lowered the price. For $6 a month, you get bonus content, people. I lowered it by $4. Right? Yes, I lowered it by $4. And there's a 7-day trial. Remember that. There's a 7-day free trial at patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. You can also listen to this podcast on other platforms. And, you know, like your Samsung fridge, maybe. Anyway, that's it. All right, have a good week. See you next time. Peace.